Got some good news for you. A recent Consumer Affairs report looked at the top U.S. cities for dating, and Washington, D.C. made the top 10. Joining me this morning to talk more about it is Dana Edens with Consumer Affairs. Dana, good morning to you. Thanks for being with us.
Good morning and happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day. All right, before we get into the specifics about D.C., I want to ask you, what was the criteria that you all looked at for these cities?
Yeah, absolutely. We ranked everything across four major areas. So dating opportunities, cost of living, quality of life, and then dating interest. We kind of added different scores to each of those to create these rankings, but things that go in is, the cost of living is going to make sure that you can actually afford dinner and afford to have a home or have an apartment. Your dating opportunities, make sure that there's, a good gender pool. We've got men and women in the area. We've got singles. We've got a good working class age group for people to be available in. Quality of life looks at everything from safety to, museums and restaurants and things for you to do in the area.
And you all looked at 110 major cities across the U.S. D.C. ranked number 8. Pretty good. What stands out about the district when it comes to dating?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think the biggest thing is that dating opportunities, which we weighted the heaviest, it gave 40% of the total, 100 points to get the top ranking. There are about 531 out of 1,000 residents in DC that are single. So statistically, every other person that you meet is unattached, not married, not divorced, single, and, looking for love just like that. And then we also had a really good gender ratio in Washington, D.C. So 85 men for every 100 women. So, of course, a little slight imbalance, but it's still a large active dating pool. And then when you factor in age distribution, there's a lot of working age, young adults, and, 20s and 30s, which fuels the dating scene.
Okay, I know people have a lot to say about dating in D.C., but technically the odds are pretty good. Last year, though, D.C. ranked 18th. So what is behind this big improvement here?
Yeah, the biggest reason for this jump here is actually high dating app interest within the last year. So we looked at, some of the most common ones out there. There's Hinge, Tinder, Bumble, all of those. There was a really high increase actually in Bumble specifically, Tinder, that kind of stuff, from 2024, 2025, even looking into 2026 as they're looking for love this year. We also saw that something that stood out is that the restaurant density even increased. So it's kind of a hard metric to think of, but if you think of 100,000 residents, there's 183 restaurants for each of that. So it's a hard kind of thing to think about, but there's an extremely strong restaurant presence there in DC.
All right, really interesting. Before we let you go, I want to ask you, just curious, some of the worst cities for dating and why they rank that way.
Yeah, some of the worst cities for dating, we had Mesa, Arizona, Oceanside, California. Colorado Springs actually ranked as our worst city, and that's because it had the second lowest share of single residents on the list, just about 340 out of every 1,000 people. And then, of course, some of those cities have really, really high cost of living, so less freedom to actually go splurge on a date night.
All right, we appreciate your insight so much. Dana, thank you so much. We appreciate your time.